The Imperial retaliation was coming to a close. Most of the rebels had fled and went into hiding in several systems. Some were not able to make it in time and got taken out by the Imperial fleet. The Emperor knew it had to prepare for the incoming Mandalorians. On Coruscant, chaos had broken out as both war supporters and anti-war parties clashed with each other. Both parties were daring the other to make the first move as verbal threats and glimpses of weapons were exchanged. One shot could escalate civil riots. Amongst the crowds there were several mercenaries. They had no particular interest in politics, but were always up for a good fight. They were the ones who shot first, and chaos erupted as many unarmed civilians ran for cover. Others who were armed started to fire at one another. Most of the civilians were untrained, and the battle was sloppy and brutal. Those without weapons tried to pick up the ones beside fallen civilians, but quickly got taken out. Not only out in the open, but also in several buildings, things started to go haywire as rioters broke in and started shooting. The space terminal was used as a last hiding spot by many. But here, the rioters entered as well, and killed many innocents. Amongst the ones in the space terminal there was Boba Fett, one of Jabba's loyal bounty hunters. He was in Coruscant for business, and found himself in the middle of the riots by accident. He was way more skilled than the average civilian, and was able to fend them off. Many civilians had informed Coruscant police, and the shocking images of the space terminal security cameras spread like wildfire on the local network. As the situation was considered out of control, the police were allowed to use lethal force. In order to keep police casualties at a minimum, they used police droids as well. The police started to engage with the rioters, and many fled. Others stood their ground and got shredded by blaster fire. In the chaos, many unarmed civilians lost their lives as well. Several droids were lost, as were some forces of the police. Things took a turn for the worse when the police got outflanked by a large group of mercenaries and heavily armed rioters. The police was forced to run for their lives. The streets were taken back by the rioters, who started to destroy public property. The Jedi Council had been informed on the situation and ordered commandos to sweep the streets. Rioters had arrived at the Jedi Temple as well, but withheld from violence as the entrance was blocked by the elite guards. That was no battle they could win. The commandos arrived at the riot scene and started to take the rioters under fire. They were no match for the heavy equipment that the commandos were carrying. A few tried to fight, but were taken out in seconds. A few managed to run away, and others surrendered and got arrested by the commandos. But most lay dead in the streets of Coruscant. Silence finally returned, and the public waited for a political statement from the Jedi Council. The Council announced it had not come to a decision yet to join the war. Their clone facilities were too precious, and it would only take a few large-scale Imperial attacks to cripple the Republic's army. The Jedi would continue their debate on whether to join the war or not shortly. Too much blood had been spilled today already. The incident at Coruscant had caught the entire galaxy's attention. A perfect opportunity for the Separatists to act unnoticed. They already managed to set up 2 new droid factories on different planets, and their next planned destination was Mustafar. But there, they would meet with resistance they did not expect.